This is MAGA Chuck, and I've come with a review of the Vevor air compressor. This is their newer air compressor that includes both a air and a water cooling system. So it's just a little bit different than the primary ones that you see advertised. As you can see on the picture and the manual here, it shows an extra item on the top of the box here that is a water holder that you fill that with water and it circulates that water. It helps in the cooling. Since everything that I read said that these things, the primary danger to them was their overheating and caused them to lose life, I wanted to get to one that had the best cooling system possible. So that's the reason that I ordered this model. As you can see here, the top view, it shows you of the I guess you'd say the radiator section for it, and on the other side you have a gauge to set the pressure that you desire, and a LED indicator that indicates what's going on with the system. On the side is a holder that holds your 12-volt cord that you can use in order to run this thing with from battery in your car, as long as you keep your car running, of course, because that uses an awful lot of electricity. My first time of shooting this, I actually had a 14-shot group that's shown on the bottom there, and that's actually, there was 7 shots, and then I moved the crosshairs on my scope about 1 inch to the right and shot 7 more, and even with all of those, that came pretty decent group. I was very pleased, so I was really excited about getting this new compressor that I can actually be able to use the thing. Along with it, you get this bag that includes a bunch of odds and ends. There's some extra O-rings and some little, I guess you'd call them little Tampax things that you put in the unit that collects moisture out of your hose. This is the hose that you use to fill your gun with, and you've got all that. You've got a manual that covers pretty much everything that has to do with the unit. On the back of the unit, there is a switch here that's an off and on power switch. When you turn that power switch on, the air starts to run. The compressor doesn't turn on, but the air starts to run, the cooling fan. And then you have a reset button here at this point, just below where the cord plugs in. There's a selector to select between 115 volts and 220 volts. Around on the front, you'll see the connector that you plug into goes to your gun. Right below this is the safety disc, or the burst disc. If you overpressure it, you have a burst disc there that will release the pressure before it causes some damage to the unit. Right below this is the bleed valve. This is a valve that you always have to be very careful. You never turn on the pump on the unit without that bleed valve being open. Then once the bleed valve is open and it's running a bit, then you can turn the compressor on, or excuse me, at that point you can turn on the compressor. Now at the bottom down here is a switch that says water. And if you look very careful, you'll notice if you push it in, it remains in. That turns the little water pump in the unit on. And when you press it again, it releases, it comes out, and it turns its water pump off. in order to fill that water pump, water unit, you just need to unscrew the cap off the top, and you can see in here there is a fill hose, or there's a return water unit that sticks in from the left side of that, and when it's running you'll see the water coming out of that. I'll turn it on just so you can see it here. Okay, so that turns on just strictly the air. Now I'm going to reach down here and turn the water on. And you can see the water circulating. So that is a part of your cooling system on here that you need to be very careful about. Make sure that you have it on before you actually engage the compressor. On the top at the back here is the setting that you set the pressure that you want the unit to run to. You always want to set that at or below the rating of the fill bottle in your gun. You never want to run it above that point, and you you can monitor that as well as the gauge on your gun in order to make sure that it's working properly. Okay, so now we'll start to actually do the compression to fill up the gun. The first thing to do is we set the gauge to the point that we want it to charge up to. I have set this to 4,500 psi, which is the rating for my gun. And then at this point, I've got the connection made here to the compressor and also to the gun. And I'm going to start the turn the power on. The power is on. You can hear it coming up. You hear the fans going. Now I will reach down and turn on the water, and the water is now on. The little button remains in as I push it in, so the water is now running. I'm going to press the starting button, and I start. Now you can hear the compressor running, and at this point, when the compressor is running, I will then close the bleed valve, and the pressure will start to build up. As you can see, the pressure is building up very rapidly. It's just coming up to the point that the pressure is in my gun, because there's a valve in the gun that when you get to that point, then it'll start allowing it to fill up the gun. So we're going to let this run. We're going to time it and see how long it takes to go from 3,000 psi up to 4,500. Gauge, you can see that the gauge has started to move now on the gun. It's moved up from 3,000 up to about 3,300. Coming up. And likewise, the gauge on the air compressor is coming up. It's showing about 3,500 at this point. 21 degrees Celsius, which is about the outside temperature here today. So you need to modify that, make sure it does not get above 80 degrees. The unit will turn itself off if it overheats, but still it's a good idea to monitor it. Into the charge, and it indicates that the charge has gone up 1,000 psi since we started, and it is rapidly approaching the full point. Okay, it is just shut off. Now you've seen pressurizing the gun all the way from 3,000 psi, which is close to the regulation pressure on this Umarex SL30, and going from there all the way up to 4,500, which is the rating for the gun. It runs about 4 minutes to do that, so that's 1/3 of the distance from 0 to 4,500. So I would say that to go from 0 all the way up, it would probably take somewhere in the neighborhood of about 12 minutes. But I'm very pleased with this unit. I was very surprised that no one else had made a review of this particular unit, so I wanted to do so. This unit runs about $60 more than the unit without the water system on it. So I felt that it would probably be worthwhile for me over a long period of time to have that. It's a little bit more work involved, but I think to set up the water and make sure that the water is running each time. But you know, if it's going to increase the longevity of the unit, then it's worthwhile to me. I was impressed with the Vevor because of the fact that it tends to have about the same capability of a lot of units that I had priced that cost nearly twice as much. And it's simple. It's everything is enclosed in it. You don't have to carry a bucket with you for the water system. It's enclosed within the unit, and so it's easily portable, that you can just throw it in the back of your truck or in the back seat of your car or whatever, and take it to the range with you, or in my case, to the backyard. So I hope you've enjoyed this, and if you have any questions or whatever, you know, just leave a comment. Have a good day.